Good morning, traders. Happy Friday. I am having a weak YouTube signal this morning. I can't even see the screen, so am I live? I can't tell. Thank you, James. Good morning, Mr. Rodriguez. Parabolic. James. Two stray dogs. Man, I hope you guys are patient. Fridays are slow. Maybe something will happen. Yeah, don't trust my screen. It seems like I can't even measure the delay because I can't see the live screen. Mine is just spinning in a circle. Good morning, Kenneth. Bottle Rocket. This is what I see on my screen. I don't have anything to view if I'm live or not. It's just spinning around. So let me know if I disappear. I'll disconnect and try again. Good morning, Jay. We have about 2 minutes to go before market open. Let's see if we can get something green on the board. Good morning, who loves lunatic? I haven't seen much activity. I've been watching the market since 5 a.m. Really could use a big stock play today. Maybe we'll have one. Maybe the Lord will bless us. He has been doing so. All right, here we go. Got a cheaper stock. It's not really moving though, but even though it says bullish. That was a big jump for a nickel. Not my favorite kind of play. Good morning, Santiago, Rick, Sandra. Not looking real good this morning, but I kind of expected it. This is Friday. It's always very slow on Friday. Good morning, Top, Bob Peterson, Gil, XT. We are all ready to make some money. We just need one to pop up. Something that pays us more than 3 or 4 cents. Any stock people should be happy with that one. If that's your game and you look for pennies, that's it. Good morning, Camaro 1. Well, it's looking like a Friday for sure. Been an awful week, really. We had a couple movers during the week. But boy, is the picking thin. You didn't find that lucky stock, you didn't make anything. Good thing we have this spike indicator where we're not searching through all of the down stocks to find 1 or 2 good ones. If you're new here, I'll do a walkthrough about 6:30. I'll explain what you see on the live stream. What our advantages is, what our tools do. Or if it stays slow like this, I'll do it about 6:15. Good morning, David. And just like that, as fast as it went up, it came down. Good morning, Dragonfire. Hopefully things will turn around in this market sometime this month, I'm hoping. Last 3 or 4 months are usually pretty good of the year. But I don't know about this administration. We'll see. So as a caution, don't trade off my live stream. We are having connection issues this morning. I don't know what the delay is. I'm going to say 15 to 30 seconds possibly. Make sure you set up on your own computer. Trade directly from your machine, not mine. Nothing moving right now. Yep, it's Friday. Slow day on Friday. Maybe something will pop up. We'll give it some time. Good morning, Chuck, Coach. Nice crowd this morning, early. Watching the numbers, if you're new here, we are watching this column here for anything that moves in the market. These numbers will take off if something's doing good. Once they take off, we click on them and check them out on the chart, see if they're worth buying or not. So far, we have nothing. A little penny stock went up about 6 cents and retracted. Got a mover here, PSTV. Let's see if it'll go up or is it a fake bounce? We'll see. Not seeing much volume in it. Watching this volume right here. Last volume bar was only 33,000. We need them to come in, kick in. We have sellers outnumbering the buyers. We got sellers up here in this candle. This is overall market volume. This is the volume in that one candle. We can see bearish up here. That right there is why you don't just jump in on green candles. Let it set up. Make sure it's strong. We are slightly bullish in this candle. We still have sellers though. It's like they're holding it back. These candle wicks on the top are sellers. The stock was once up here and the sellers drive it back down. Same thing with this little wick, same thing with that wick. We want the wicks on the bottom, not the top. Good morning, James. That's all right, James. We understand. I do the same thing. All right, if you're new here, I am Ricky Gaspard. I'm a guy that trades from his home office. I've been trading since 1990. I'm also a ThinkScript coder. I write my own scripts and indicators. In this column, I created a volume spike indicator, and I'm watching that stock while I talk. But I created a volume spike indicator that lets you know as soon as the stock starts moving, such as the one showing. Once it starts moving, we come over here and we verify that we have volume. Lots of volume is what we like. We verify that the buyers outnumber the sellers in the overall volume. We watch for a moving average crossover. This is the 8, this is the 21. Once we get a crossover, we monitor the price. Once we see green arrows coming in and we see a green bullish indicator up here that's measuring this current candle, we decide if we want to buy it or not. And to put that simple, we see a green one rising over here. We verify we have volume, a crossover, arrows, 2 green indicators, and we make our decision to buy or not. It's that simple, but it's not too simple. That's not all you need. You need to learn. You need to watch the videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Here is the link. Watch all the videos until you're sick of watching the videos. That's how you learn. You plant them in your memory. Watch them over and over again. You can't learn enough. Trust me, I know. Once you watch the videos and while you're on YouTube, click the link below the video and join our Discord where there's over 750 investors over in Discord. Everybody's pitching in. Everybody's helping everybody. It's a wonderful thing to have this many people join together and help each other through these hard times of investing. That's a blessing. So once you're in Discord, if you're new, head over to Current Setup. There's 3 items you need to install. plus a couple of scans. So in current setup, I've numbered them 1, 2, and 3. Just follow the instructions and you'll be set in no time. Thank you for joining us and happy Friday as we watch this column for stocks to pop up. And it's Friday. It's going to be slow. Probably won't have a good show, but I pray that we do. All we do is watch numbers. That one's bearish. It's growing, but it's bearish. We want these numbers moving. We want them rising. We want them to say bullish. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Scott. Thank you guys for joining us. So this is our pre-market scan. You can find it in TOS scans over in Discord. It'll show you how to set this up. This is monitoring the entire pre-market. Even though you only see this many on my display, if they're moving, they're going to pop up right up here at the top. We don't have to scroll down the list. They come to us. If it moves or breathes, we know. And I better make sure I'm on 0.0. I failed to mention that, and I'm not. Right click on your volume spike, go to 0.0. That makes it as sensitive as it can be. So now if anything breathes, we know. Just like that one. That's another cheap stock moving a few pennies. That's how easy it is to find them. You just monitor this column. If they move, we know 25%. So far, it's moved up about 8 cents. That's a tall green candle, but not very much money. There's 10 cents, 11 cents, 12 cents. If you set up on your machine, you will get these stock indications way before you see me show them on the live stream. I'm delayed. So you'll be picking them out, wondering why I haven't seen it, and I have. It's just that it's not going to show to you for about 15 or 20 seconds. So I'm on them, but they're delayed. That's why I don't want you trading off of my screen. Join us in Discord, get set up. Believe me, this works. Sometimes we have multiple choice in this column here. You won't get that out of a paid service. We know everything that's moving. No more paid scanners for me. The Lord blessed me with this script. That's all it took. And because of this script, other scripts were born. Overall buyers in the overall volume is exceeding the sellers. We have a bullish spike in this candle. It's like we're getting these bounces up, but they don't have enough strength to continue. They pull down and then they park. There's a cheap penny stock moving. Think I'm going to save my money. I want more than a nickel or a dime. Thank you, Santiago. It was a long time in the making. They told me you can't do that in ThinkorSwim, and I proved them wrong. It can be done if you know what you're doing. Yeah, I saw it moving earlier during the week. I don't like getting stuck in halts because I'm usually in too deep. It's not worth my risk. I mean, it's okay if they're moving 25 cents to 50 cents between each number. That allows me to jump in there and make a few $100s in one trade. But if they're only bouncing up and down, I don't want to waste a lot of money on a nickel or a dime. Sometimes I think I should just so I can make something, but I eventually end up making way more than that if I just save the money to put it into a better stock. That's good. I'm glad you made some money. I tried yesterday. Didn't follow my own rules. Didn't practice what I preached, and I lost $40. You stray away from what you know, that's what happens. It was all on me. Good morning, Kelly. So far this morning, it's let's go up a dime, let's fall a dime. That's about what I've seen. Nothing really keeping the gains. Verb keeps trying. It could be a winner today. We'll keep an eye on it. It's trading about a nickel between each price number. That's how I look at them before I buy them, like 205, 210. I like to see 25 cents, 50 cents between these numbers. Santiago, I'm live 5 days a week, 6 a.m. till 9:30 Central Standard Time. Everything is free. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to Discord, get yourself set up. We'd love to have you on board. Over on Discord, if you have any questions, there's a support channel. Just leave us a message. Somebody will help you. All we do all day long is monitor these numbers. Every now and then I'll go stare out the window because it gets that boring. But that's good for the eyeballs. Quit looking at the screen so much. My eyesight is poor as it is. I got to take care of it. I'm getting older. See, if somebody would have brought donuts this morning, we'd all be happy right now. That's not much of a break, two stray dogs. Going from one machine to the other, that don't count. If you notice over here, I've got a low float scanner running. I don't know if I put it on Discord yet, but I got one working. Kelly, that's my age. I'm the same age. Probably a little bit more beat up, but I'm the same age. I used to run around opening the door for all the elderly people. Now they're opening the door for me. That's how you can tell you're getting older. Back to silence. Good morning, Josie. Kelly, we sure have seen a lot. I was born in Galveston, Texas. When I was young, there were still cannons bolted to the Galveston seawall from previous wars. I used to listen to the old folks tell their stories. Now I'm telling mine. That ought to tell you something. Nothing moving yet? Santiago, you'll get it. Just come to these live streams, watch how these indicators work. If your on demand works in ThinkorSwim, you won't get this spike indicator, but you'll get this chart. Just go find the highest gainers you can in on demand and start playing them. You'll find the crossovers and the arrows. You'll see all of this stuff happening, but you won't get the spike indicator. But it's a good way to practice when the market's not open. Good morning, Tamimi. Yeah, Kelly, I'm right here in Kemah. I'm over here by the sailboats. And no, I don't own a sailboat. I'm a motorcycle rider. Me and the wife like to travel on the motorcycle. And when I say travel, I'm talking thousands of miles, not just around the corner. About 4 years ago, we did a 4,000-mile trip from here all the way through Colorado and back. We hit every major city in the state of Colorado. It was gone about a month. Was the most enjoyable vacation I ever had. I've never noticed a fee from ThinkorSwim. They did back in the day. I've been using them since 1990. And there was fees back then. But I haven't noticed any fees lately. What I have noticed is some gigantic spreads when a stock starts moving. I believe that's how they made up the difference. You may be correct on those charges because I don't trade penny stocks. I usually trade stocks above $5. Every now and then I'll grab a $3 one, but hardly ever below $3. Yes, sir, Mr. Peterson, they can get ridiculous. Jimmy, that's how I got stung yesterday for $40. I got into a stock that didn't have enough volume. By the time I got out, the price done dropped out of my profit. Even though I was ahead at $80. When I sold at 80, I ended up negative 40. It was definitely my fault, though. I knew better. I didn't follow my own rules. Made a few dollars on ICCT earlier during the week. That was about the only good play this week that I found anyway. Yeah, I don't trade OTC stocks either. James Taylor, it could be any day. I've seen Good Fridays as well. I would say there's no particular day that's better than the other. It's all about buyers and sellers. If the buyers are winning, that stock's going to go up. That's what this column does. It lets us know the buyers are outnumbering the sellers. So it gives us a bullish signal. Then we watch for high volume. We like the volume to be as high or growing as fast as it can. When the indicators line up, we slip in and grab some of it and get out. Sometimes we get a little, sometimes we get way more than we expected. Good morning, Snow Moon. If you're new to trading, there you have to give it time. This is nothing you can learn in a week or a month. You have to go through the ups and downs, figure out what you're doing wrong, correct what you're doing wrong, and eventually you become profitable. You'll get lucky every now and then along the way, but you're still, even if you learn it all, you're still going to get stung every now and then. The whole thing is to cut your losses short. Don't try to hang on for a recovery. That's where most people go wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Just get out. Take the $50, $20, $100 loss. Get out. Don't hang on till you're $300 or $400 in the hole. Cut them short. Wait for the next one. If you're on the PDT rule, you'll eventually get higher than that rule if you cut your losses short. It'll take time, depending on what you started with. But the whole object is to learn. Watch the good times and the bad times. Put it all together. Take notes. Review your notes. If you make a bad trade, review your bad trade. See what you did wrong. If you did nothing wrong, it's not your fault. Sometimes everything can line up and you'll be wrong. That's the market. It's a game of odds. That's how I like to put it. A game between buyers and sellers, and who wins. So this setup here, it comes with all of these indicators. It comes with the spread, the bullish, the crossover lines, the arrows. You can adjust this spread to where you want it to be just by going to studies. edit studies, click the gear icon, and right here is the spread limit. If you can deal with more than 9-cent spread, you can change this number. Or if you want to tighten it up to a nickel, you can put it on a nickel. Down here, you can change the colors of your arrows in your lines, in your crossovers. Just make sure if this says arrow down, that this arrow down is also the same color. Or if this arrow up is changed, then make sure this arrow up is changed to the same color. And this would be your EMAs. You can change the color and the width of the lines here. You shouldn't have to mess with the rest of the settings. They should work just fine, unless you want to change your moving averages to 5 and 13. That's what I like to use. 5 and 13 will cut it a little bit tighter for you. You'll get crossover sooner. You'll get out of them sooner. You can change that in here as well. Just by clicking that gear icon, you see I have 5 and 13. The smaller number always goes above the bigger number. Bob, that's how we learn, right? I've done the same thing. When you put the pencil and the paper to it and you see them losses add up more than your gainers, that's when you finally get a hold of it. Just don't take a chance. If you're wrong, get out. If you're wrong $20, it should go up as soon as you get in. It may drop $5 or $10 and then bounce up. If it doesn't get that bounce, you better get out. If it starts floating sideways, the volume left. That's why we like high volume. Volume and price action. That's how we trade. I verify the price action with these arrows and these crossovers of these moving averages. We get more than one indicator to help us with that part. These bullish and buyers, they help you with determining the direction. If you're new here, I'll do another walkthrough about 7:30. I try to keep them on the half hour so I don't feel like I'm redoing it every 15 minutes. Plus, I want you to hang around for a little bit. I want you to see what's going on. So I only do them once an hour. About 3 minutes, 4 minutes to 7 o'clock. If something's going to happen, it'll be at the top of each hour. So we're coming up on 7 o'clock Central Time. If something's going to happen, it'll show in these numbers. About 2.5 more minutes before the top of the hour. You're not familiar with Fridays. Fridays are slow. We may not get much activity. Usually pre-market up to about 9 o'clock will be good, and then Friday will die the rest of the day. Do not trade off of my screen. If you are new here and just popped in, my screen is delayed. Join us on YouTube, join us on Discord, get set up properly if you're going to trade this system. About a minute to go. I'm going to leave it on verb unless something else pops up. 7 o'clock could drive it up a little further. About 30 seconds to go. Well, are they going to drive it up or down? Usually takes them about 30, 40 seconds before it kicks in. This is Tokyo joining the U.S. market at 7 o'clock. I'm watching the ThinkorSwim ladder. I see a lot more sellers than buyers. So far, only about a nickel. You can see in the list here, the list got bigger. That other market joined us, which is Tokyo. Another dollar stock on the move. Got to watch these numbers. When you see this percentage jump up, that's when you check them out. Try to catch them as soon as you can. You got to really be focused to get in near the bottom. That's a good one for the cheap penny stock players, but that's what I don't like about them. That's how fast they can change. I have no trust in the cheaper stocks at all. That was a run up and a gap down without a halt. That tells me somebody had already bought some shares of this stock and they were just waiting for that gap up so they could dump them. Maybe they were watching social media. Maybe they set it up on one of the stock picking forums. You never know. They're popping up, but they're not rising. It's like individual trades. Maybe it's just their previous orders executing from Tokyo, and then they die out. Verb failed. Jumped up about a nickel, then lost it all. Yeah, you got to be really careful. A good plan is, let's say you're going to trade 500 shares and you're not sure what's going to happen, but all of the indicators are lining up. A good plan would be to get in with half of those shares, or maybe even less. If you're right, then add the rest of the shares. If you're wrong, you don't lose as much. It's pretty volatile this morning. I mean, they jump up and then they just fall right back down, so be careful. I like them to just drive them up. Don't drive it up 1 penny or two and drop it. Drive it up. Let's make some money. A lot of people clear out their portfolio on Fridays. That's usually why Fridays are red. They go into cash for the weekend, start again on Monday. Of course, I'm cash at the end of every trade. I'm never sitting on anything. I don't trust them. In and out in a flash. That's how I trade. Watch numbers. That's all we do. Watch numbers all day long till you get tired of watching numbers. I never ever listen to somebody's recommendation. My recommendation is right here in this column. This is proof if they're going to buy it or not. Many years ago, I renamed CNBC to Never Can Be Correct. That's what those letters stand for. You know, you could be correct because I'm just going off of what somebody told me. I never did verify that. And I should have, I agree. Yeah, my biggest mistake was a website called StockTwits. When they first started going, when they first launched, I was told, go over here, follow these people, they'll tell you what's going up. And they did. They told me what was going up. What they didn't tell me that they were going to drive it up and sell it off. And I got stung for like $3 or $4 a share, holding 1,000 shares. That one stung. So after that, I never listened to nobody, because you can't trust them. They could be in the hole, and they're hoping they can pump it up to get out. Yeah, these are the things you go through when you're trying to learn the stock market. You start listening to somebody you think's trustworthy, or a group, or you pay somebody to teach you, and all they're teaching you is how not to make the mistakes they did. But you're going to make those mistakes anyway. So instead of paying somebody, just take the little loss and learn with your own money, because you're going to lose learning. So don't pay somebody to tell you what they did wrong. It's not going to work for you, because you're going to make different mistakes. Good morning, Robert. Get in there, dig deep, do it yourself. That's what I say. Learn from your own mistakes. Try not to take big losses. Cut them short. Watch these live streams. I'm not trying to prove you a course or nothing like that. I'm just showing you what these indicators can do for you. They don't lie. That's why I built them. These indicators prove themselves. Jimmy, I do the same thing. I say I'm not trading. I'll tell people I quit at 9:30, and I end up sitting in the recliner with a laptop beside me watching the market all day long. I never quit watching it. If I'm available, I'm watching the market. I may not be trading, but I'm watching the market. It's an addicting pastime. That's how I look at it. It's very addicting. Good morning, Kyle. Pretty good volume on this stock. It could go up. The crossover has already happened. We're getting arrows. We are having buyers outnumber the sellers. We are bullish. It really needs to break this level here. For me to be interested, if I were to buy a cheaper stock, it would have to break through that level, bounce off of it as support, and then shoot up. I would be more interested in it above this level, which would be this level here. If it can break through, turn around and retest it and bounce up, that's when I would be interested. And no matter what the price of the stock, that's how I like to trade, on pullbacks. This indicator allows me to see the run up and the breakthrough and the crossover and the arrows. It gives me confidence. Now we're breaking through. If it'll roll over and come back down and retest that level, it may run up even higher. And sometimes they just take off, and I just call it a miss. I don't try to chase them. So now we're going to come down for the retest probably. There's the retest. Let's see if it turns around and goes up. It could just break right on back through it and come on down. I've seen them do that as well. There we go. That's a good setup to learn. But the problem is you don't know how much higher it's going to go. So you would ease yourself into this trade in case you're wrong, in case it turns around. You were actually right by making that call, that pullback, but you can't predict what's going to happen once it bounces back up. Most of the time, and I'm going to say 80 to 90%, more closer to the 90, they will continue going once they do that. So we broke through, I threw a line, we were bouncing off this level, it pulled through, the next candle came back down and retested that level and then took off a little bit. It has good volume. But it's Friday. And it's a cheaper stock. If this was a higher price stock, it would probably flew. You have to keep in mind on these lower price stocks, people buy a lot of shares, so this kind of volume is really average volume for a stock like this. This would have to hit in the millions for it to have 1,000 people buying it. Because the price is so low. But we'll see the end result here. We broke through, had to pull back. Let's see how far it can go. Robert Merritt, it's over in TOS scans. I think it's near the top. And good morning, Kyle. That one slipped by me. And Robert Polite. This is normal Friday activity. You get one that plays out correctly, but then it doesn't go anywhere. So if you'd have played the pullback here, you'd have probably entered in here somewhere. You wouldn't be in the hole, but you wouldn't be making any money either. Maybe a few dollars, about maximum. And then you'd already pulled out because it's going here. This is why I don't like the cheaper stocks. Some people play them a lot better than I do. The ones that are used to playing the cheaper stocks, they're good at it. I can't say that I am, though. About 6 more minutes. If you're new here, I'll do a demo for you. I do them every half hour up till 9:30. I don't do one at 9:30 though. I sign off. Watching numbers move, that's how we find them. As soon as they start moving, they show up in this column under the volume spike indicator. See how soon I caught this one? This one moved earlier this morning, though. I don't know why it pulled back so hard after that movement. We do not have a spike indicator up here on that candle. We have sellers. We have very low volume. This is the current candle volume. Always watch the indicators. The last candle was only 35,000 shares traded. That's not a whole lot. All right, since we're slow, I'm going to go fill my coffee cup up. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. When you're a guy trading from home in his home office, you got to go get your own coffee. That's how that works. All right, if you're new here, I am Ricky Gaspard. I am a guy that trades from his home office. I've been trading since 1990. I am also a ThinkScript coder, and I have coded my own indicators. This one is called the volume spike indicator. It lets us know immediately if a stock is moving in the market. This is our pre-market scan. You apply this indicator to it, and you can monitor all of the stocks in the pre-market and know exactly when they start moving by these numbers. So we watch for volume spikes. We click on that stock. I also coded this pullback indicator. So once it's spiking on this side, we come over here and we verify that these two moving averages cross. This is the 8, this one is the 21. Once they cross and you see green arrows pop in, these green arrows are telling you there's a volume spike happening. So you look down here at the volume and you verify that there's lots of volume, and there's not in this one. And you verify that the buyers are outnumbering the sellers. Right now the sellers are outnumbering the buyers. In this current candle, it's monitored by another label up here. It'll tell you if it's bullish or bearish. So this big green candle would trigger an indicator up here saying bullish. So when everything lines up and the stock looks good, the crossover occurs, you see a bunch of green arrows, we have volume, and you see green and green. That's when you make your decision to buy. This is an easy setup. To put it simple, once you do this for a while, it's not as complicated as I just described. It's more or less, that one's rising, I'm clicking on it, I'm verifying the volume, I see green and green, and I see arrows in a crossover. It happens that fast. And you make your decision to buy or not. I've simplified it, but you still have to have market knowledge. You still need to study. Just because I make it look simple with indicators doesn't mean it's simple. Watch the videos on YouTube. There's old ones and there's new ones. Watch all of them. Some of them are not relevant, but the information contained within them are. You'll continue to learn and learn. Burn it into your brain till you learn it. That's the link to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos. Everything is free. So by you watching these videos and learning, I get paid a few pennies by YouTube. If you haven't joined our Discord, there's a link to Discord below every video. Let me grab that link for you. Over on Discord, we have about 750 investors. Everybody's helping everybody. I have a support channel over there if you have questions. If you have install issues, somebody will help you if I'm not available. We thank you for joining us this morning and would love to have you on board. Thank you for checking us out. This is what I like to see happen on a $5 or a $10 stock, because I know I gained $1 or so instead of just 10 or 15 cents. Yes, sir. I just explained that. You subscribe to the YouTube. Below the video is a link to Discord. Go join Discord, and over in Discord, there's a channel called Current Setup. Click on Current Setup. It's 3 steps to set your screen up like this and to set this indicator up. Over in TOS Scans, I have numerous scans over there. You'll find this pre-market scan, this all stock scan. You'll find many scans that I've created throughout my career. Over in TOS Scripts, you'll find some of the scripts I used to use, and sometimes I still use them. But since this one was born, it has outperformed any other script that I have. This one will make you money. When you find one that makes you money, you stick with it. You never change. You perfect it. Correct your mistakes. And keep going. A lot of people fail. They fail in one setup. They give up on it. They go to the next setup and they fail again. This is a good one. Perfect it. Watch what happens. Watch it every day. Come to these live streams. You will see there's money to be made. Just because I make it look easy, though, doesn't mean it's easy. You still have to learn. But we don't search for stocks. They come to us. You'll see them pop up here if they're moving. You'll see the percentages growing. This BIOC's been moving all morning. I'll probably be sorry later today that I didn't buy a dollar stock that went up 100%. I'll try to not look back at it so I don't get frustrated. It's okay. Has good strength. It pulled back a little bit. Pulled back to this level. Took off again. That tells me the buyers are interested. Problem is, we don't know how high it's going to go or if it's going to go up or down at market open. At market open, I'm usually not holding anything in my portfolio. A lot of people sell just before market open in case the market gaps down. They want to protect their earnings. You learn these things along the way. Don't expect overnight success. This is not a get-rich-quick thing. The market's tough. You have to learn. Cut your losses short. If you're wrong, just get out. Don't hang on for a recovery. It doesn't usually happen. Just accept the loss and get out. Move on to the next one. Good morning, Shayo. Thank you, Kilfers. Are you talking about in current setup? Mr. Rodriguez, if you click on that link, it goes right to the indicator. So is it giving a error after you load it into ThinkorSwim? Or are you getting an error just by the link itself? If you click on the link and it loads, there's usually not an error. It's usually user error. Whenever I have just one person that has an issue and nobody else is mentioning it, it's usually not the script itself. It's an install error, and I try to help them out. So, Mr. Rodriguez, when you click on the link, does it open? So the link you're clicking on, I want to verify this because there's so many links there. So are you talking about step 1 link in current setup? So I'm going to try to load it real quick. Give me a few seconds. I'm going to see if it's you or me. So I loaded it just fine. I did not have an issue with it. I copied the link, pasted it in ThinkorSwim, click preview. It popped right up. I renamed it because I already have it loaded, and it loaded right in. I'll change the link later today. I have no idea why you're getting an error if I can load it. Maybe you're copying more than the link. That's a possibility. Or if you click on the link don't copy it, but click on the link and then copy the URL at the top of that page and try it that way. And Shayo could be right. It could be a Charles Schwab thing if you're using Schwab. About 7:47 my time. Nothing really moving yet. We had a few penny stocks take off this morning. That's about it. Not any really high gains, which is typical for Friday. I'm going to make a new link and stick it up there real quick. See if you still get the error. I'm kind of curious now. All right, there's a new link posted. Let me know if you still have an issue. If it's not spiking, it's not going to show. It's up there now. I see it on my screen. It's selected. EIOC. But if they're not spiking, they disappear or they drop down the list. And now it's disappeared. It's only going to let you know when they're moving. Now it's back. That's why when you see one, Robert, and you click on it, keep monitoring it. Just because it disappears, it could just be a pause in buyers and sellers, and then they come right back in and start buying it again, and it pops back up. So when we first saw this stock, it was over here in this area. I remember it bouncing off of this, and I threw a line there to see if it would break through. So this is how early we caught this stock, was back in this area. And I really wasn't paying attention. It probably was spiking in here somewhere, and I just didn't see it. So if you can catch them when they first take off, if you have the ability to hold on. I mean, once you're in profit, it's okay to hold on through a little pullback to see if it's going to continue. But don't try to hold on if you get in and it immediately starts falling. But if you're in profit, it's okay to lose a little profit to see if it's going to continue. I don't play these lower price stocks because I don't like the way they perform. I mean, if you're playing something that's $10 a share and it pulls back this far, I kind of train myself that I'm out of it if it pulls back that far. When I try to apply that to a cheaper stock, I could be wrong, where I could have stayed in. So there's different ways to play different price stocks. It's okay to hang on through a 5 or 10 cent drop, but at 1,000 shares and you're in a $10 stock that can drop 50 cents, that's $500. So two totally different strategies for the different prices and stocks. When you play the higher price stocks, you have to allow yourself to hold through bigger drops than normal. So if you're playing a cheaper stock, it's okay if it drops 10 cents. You may allow yourself, okay, it'll drop maybe $30, $40 before the next run up. But if you're in a $10 stock, you don't want to hold on for a 30, 40 cent drop because you're $300, $400, $500 down before the next run up. So you have to be absolutely sure you have a lot of buyers in and you get in when it's rising. If you have any doubts whatsoever, you don't enter. Totally different trading when you get up in the higher price stocks. Robert, definitely more screens makes it easier. You get tired of clicking tabs when you could put it up on 4 monitors and watch everything at one time. The only thing I ever have to click is the buy and the sell button. Everything else is in full view. Getting close to that 8 o'clock hour. I don't expect any news at 8 o'clock. That rarely happens. People may start selling off after 8 o'clock, usually around 8:10, 8:15. We'll see a bunch of red come in. So, Mr. Rodriguez, did that new link work? Yes. Well, it's not a scan, it's an indicator, so that was confused by your reply there. So every script that I write works off of live data. So after hours, some of it's not going to work. Like this is not going to work for you, this volume spike. I monitor things as it happens. Nothing is determined by what happened in the past. To me, the past is the past. I want to know what's happening now and what may happen in the future. That's why I created these indicators. This one's live, this one's live, and this one up here is live, and these arrows are live. It's all live data. So, Mr. Rodriguez, just change the name of it after you click preview. Name it to something you want to name it, and I'll go back and correct it later. I think that's a toss error, though, because I've been using the same format for every link. The pre-market riser scan is in TOS scans. I believe it's near the top. No problem. I'll check it out later. I like to know these issues when they occur because I have no idea. I have them loaded. So I don't know if anybody else is having an issue or not unless they tell me. So thank you for telling me. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. You were correct. I put a dash instead of an underscore. And TOS doesn't let you use dash marks. I know nothing's going to have to happen after 8 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. All right, everything should work now. If you're new here, I'll do a walkthrough at the half hour, which would be 8:30. I do them once an hour. See, volume is so low in the market. Here's a higher price stock that's only moving pennies. That's what happens when you have no volume in the market. The market's been dying every day about 9 o'clock. The most activity's been pre-market and market open. In market open, you probably are shooting in the dark to try to guess which one's going to work. Very volatile at market open. I prefer to wait till the market calms down 5 or 10 minutes later. The strong ones will usually survive. That's when I start trading. I don't chase green candles. I do play pullbacks at market open. If the first 1 or 2 candles are green, I'll mark the high, wait for the pullback, then I would buy it. But I don't chase the first 1 or 2 green candles. Every time I've done that, they pulled back just as high as they went up. That's a lesson to learn right there. Unless you're fast finger Freddy and you can grab some and out in seconds. I've done that before too, but it's very high risk. So I'll work on them links today. I'll go ahead and change the other two in that section as well. I don't think these links expire. I've never had one expire. But what puzzles me is the first link worked for me but didn't work for you. And then when I changed it, it worked for you. So I'm going to work on changing those 3 links today. Won't take me very long. If things work correctly, I don't get so many support questions. Little penny stock on the move. I do mean pennies. We have a subscriber named Gregster. It's probably on his list. He's good at penny stocks. He posts them regularly right there in the penny stock channel. So if you're new to Discord, click on all of the text channels, explore all of the rooms, leave some comments, talk to other investors, ask them questions. They don't mind. They have an answer, they'll respond. Just don't use the voice channels unless you know what you're doing. But all of the text channels are there for you. Make yourself at home. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, here's the link. Everything is free. Just remember, the more you watch them, YouTube will pay me a couple of more pennies. It pays me for my time because I'm not charging anyone. I'm paying it forward. We're letting YouTube pay for your education. Help me out if you can. Here's the link to the Discord. I want you to join all of us. We're there 5 days a week. A lot of them are on there on the weekend discussing different things. But be careful, it gets addicting just like trading. But if you're learning, addicting is good. That means you're there regularly. Watch those videos, old ones and new ones. The old ones aren't as relevant as the new ones, but they all teach you something. If I taught you something, and this is not a requirement, and you feel like you want to pay me something, you can do that through the chat. I don't ask for it. It's simply a donation. It's totally up to you. You're not going to break my heart. It's there for convenience. Thank you for joining us. This is that 8 o'clock dead spot where nobody wants to do nothing. About 8:25, we will change over to market open setup. It's just a few clicks, not anything drastic. Problem is, I haven't had anything pop up in pre-market that I actually wanted to save to watch for market open. Nothing's been real promising. Usually I have 4 or 5 from pre-market saved so I can watch them at market open. I don't even have one today. But it's Friday. That's what happens on Fridays. Market open kind of reminds me, believe it or not, of a speeding ticket I got many years ago. I had a cop pull me over, and I was probably speeding, but I was just clocking the traffic. So I was keeping up with the flow of traffic. So the cop pulls me over, and I asked him, I said, "Why did you just pull me over? I wasn't going any faster than the rest of the people." And he told me, "Son, you ever been duck hunting?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Well, have you ever shot into a flock of ducks and only got one? Well, you're the one." And that kind of reminds me of market open. It's so volatile. It's like a flock of ducks. You got to get in there and pick one and hope you get one. Thank you, Josie. Which one, Mr. Shelton? Bottom left, bottom right, top left. Mr. Smith, I probably don't know that one. I guess the red color would mean sports car, I'm assuming. Good morning, Jesse. Oh, I get it, Mr. Shelton. I overlooked it. I'm trying to watch numbers and read chat. I misinterpreted your statement. My apology. So market open is at 8:30. That's when we get volatile. That's when we shoot into that flock of ducks. Try to find a winner. I do know one thing about motorcycles and cops. I do know if you drive a Goldwing, something big and luxury, the cops don't pull you over because they know you're an old guy on a motorcycle. Now, they'll pull over them speeders, the ones that are laying down on their gas tank, but they don't pull over an old man on a three-wheeler. That ain't gonna happen. I call my bike a high-performance wheelchair. That's pretty much what it is. I can't fall over anymore. That is correct, Mr. Shelton. We'll do that in about 3 minutes. That's a picture of my high performance wheelchair if you've never seen it. It's a nice ride. I don't know why I put a navigator on it though, because my wife sits behind me and she does a good job of that. But that's what we travel on. I've got a matching trailer that goes along with it. We have lots of fun. Thank you. I like it. Gold wings are quiet. You can hardly hear them running. They don't vibrate. I've actually balanced a nickel on the engine and it never fell over. That's how smooth and balanced it is. It's also air ride suspension. I can adjust the suspension. Has cruise control. It's decked out. Have wind deflectors to direct the wind away from us. Mr. Shelton, they're not dumb questions. Nothing's dumb here. They're all good questions in my book. All right, let's get changed over here. If you've never done this before, we are going to right click on volume spike. We're going to go to edit formula. And we are going to change that. Let me get back up here. We're going to change this back to 100. And we're going to click apply and OK. And what that does is that it eliminates all the stocks that are not moving at least 1%. We're going to change the scan to the all stocks. I know it's down there below this one, but I'm going to move it up here. We're going to sort it by mark percent change. You may prefer to sort it some other way. I just like monitoring the top gainers. Down here, I'm going to change this one over to, I believe it was, let's see, high flyers. Yeah, that should work. We'll use high flyers today. I have several. I just switched this one around. This one over here is the low float scanner. You don't know what this high fly scanners is? That means all of the moving averages are stacked above each other, like the 8's above the 21, the 21's above the 34, the 34's above the 55, and the price is above the 8. Just like that. But the other moving averages are stacked in order below it. So when you check stocks in this scan, they're all going to be pointing north. They're all going to be going up. Dragonfire, I get about 42 miles to the gallon, even though it's an 1800cc bike. And that's pulling a trailer with us on it. If I'm not driving it efficiently, I'll probably drop down to 34, 32, somewhere around there. Holds about 6.6 gallons, and I'll get about 275 to 280 miles per tank. Thank you. Did HKIT, did it ever get off the bottom? So if you're not familiar with this stock and you haven't seen it, it dropped from $34 all the way down to $3 and something. I kind of stayed away from it. It made a few moves yesterday, not very many. Dropped down in pre-market, now it's trying to recover. Always zoom out on your stocks. Take it to a 15-minute chart and zoom out and look at it, what it did in the past. That's a good key indicator if you should be buying it or not. If you're looking in a zoomed in mode, you don't know what happened in the past. You could be playing the bottom bump of a drop. Good luck, everybody. I'll try to find something here. So it looked like HKT already halted down. That's why I stay clear of those kind. It struggled. When they sell off, they sold off for a reason. Yeah, don't trade off of my screen, whatever you do. If you're not set up, don't trade off of mine. You'll definitely lose some money. There's no indicator anywhere that contain market open. None of them. It's a guessing game. I'm watching multiple scans though. I try to break it down as much as I can. I don't trade AMC or APE. I don't like the crookedness behind them. This low float scanner's fired up over here, but the percentages are not moving. I'll make sure I have this on the TOS scans today. I don't know if I put it up there or not. It may be already. CGC, you say? Yeah, that's your price range, not mine. That's a little expensive. When the market slows down, we will click on volume spike and sort them back to, I'll go ahead and do that now. What's it matter? But what that does, though, is it doesn't let me know the top gainers, so I can't monitor them that way. So I'm going to go back. I like to know what these green ones are doing, not what the red ones are doing. Too high, not moving. This is the high flyer scan. I told you all of the moving averages are stacked. The stocks are going to look like this. The problem is we only get a few of them, especially when the market's down. It'll calm down in a little bit. I was hoping to get a pullback play on this one, but I don't see it happening. The volume's kind of died off a little. It can break through and pull back down. I'll be interested. Looks like it resisted at 1855. Not going to happen. So pretty much if you get set up like this, I use the market watch tab and I set up one watch list with this volume spike. And then you can just go to the corner of the market watch tab, watch list, and you can monitor any of your stocks through it. Instead of having multiple watch lists, just set up the one big one. Cheaper stock on the move. It was over here in low float. VERB moved earlier this morning. So at market open, once you're set up, the thing is monitor your scans, find one that works for you by watching the volume spike indicator. I'm clicking around looking for something in my price range. You should have all of your scans set to only the price range that you trade. There's no sense in monitoring anything else that you're not going to buy anyway. So go into all of your scans and put your minimum and maximum price. Only monitor your price range and cut out some of this noise. For purposes of this live stream, mine is pretty wide open. So I'm showing stocks $200 down here, around $30 and lower here. But you set yours to what you can afford to buy, and you wouldn't have so much to choose through. Your only job is to watch this column and watch these numbers. We'll see flows come in, and then it'll die, and then another flow will come through, and then it'll die, and then it'll calm down. So about 10 more minutes from now, it's probably going to die completely because it's Friday. This is a Friday example right here. Everybody wanted something to go up. It did. The rest of them sold. Jay, I monitor $1 all the way to $50 if I'm just trading and not streaming. I'll buy a $50 stock, but I usually don't go above $50. But if you can only afford $1 to $5, that's what you should be monitoring. Or if you only want to trade between $3 and $10, that's all you should be watching. The smaller you can make that list, the better chance you're going to have of picking a winner. The way I set my price range is I look, let's say for instance, I like to buy 1,000 shares. So do I want to spend $50,000 for a $50 stock? No, I don't. So then I think of it as, what if I only bought 100 shares, which is still a good amount of shares for a $50 stock that may move $3 or $4? Would I spend $5,000 on a $50 stock? And yes, I would, because I can pick up $200 or $300. So that's how I set my range. Pick the biggest dollar size on a stock that you can afford by buying a minimum of 100 shares. And that would be the top range of your price range. Because the higher the price of the stock, the more it's going to move. Higher price stocks don't move nickels and dimes. They usually move dollars or $2 or $3. So the higher price the stock, try to stay with a minimum of 100 shares. So if your limit's $3,000 at 100 shares, you don't want to exceed a $30 stock. This is the high flyers. I told you we're not going to get very many, but that's what they look like. They're always going up. Doesn't mean they're not going to pull back, but the moving averages are usually stacked. I don't have all the moving averages on here, but I can assure you they're stacked in the proper order because of this scan. Hey, we're going to sort back by volume spike now that the volatility is dying down. And we're going to start looking for movers. We're going to be looking for numbers rising. If there's any strong stocks that are going to continue going up today, they should appear. If everything starts pulling back because it's Friday, it'll be a shot in the dark. This is that BIOC stock. Even though it had good news, it's Friday, it pulled back. This is either a buyout, a split, or something like that when they gap up that high and then they just freeze. I stay away from those. Probably going to hover around that one price range. Getting pretty quiet now, as expected on a Friday. And normally I don't trade on Fridays. Unless something looks really good. And I do mean really, emphasis on that word. I'm clicking on green ones, but they're only just minor bounces. That's why they're popping up. You are welcome, old thumb. That's why I'm here. I want everybody to learn. I want to pay it forward. I think everybody deserves a right to know this. A lot of people shy away from the higher price stocks. They think they can't afford them, but if you base it on 100 shares, I mean, 100 shares of a $10 stock is $1,000. And you get a lot better movement out of that $10 stock than a cheap stock. So you end up making more by buying less shares on a higher price stock. Herb is very volatile. It's kind of like get in so I can drop. Get in so I can drop. Not enough volume in this stock. If you look at the last bar, only 8,400 shares traded. That's a $225 a share stock. This is the gap and run scan. These are the stocks that crawl up slowly on low volume. But they kind of do this kind of stuff most of the day, just up and down, but they continue to climb. It's very slow money. See, that's a good example of a higher price stock. That's a $100 stock that moved $3. I'm going to cut the price range down on that gap and run. We'll go $1 to $50. Cut out some of them $300 ones. I don't even buy them. That looks much better. But I took away all the volume spikes, but it's all right. There's one. I'm not seeing, this scan right here is monitoring just about everything. I'm not seeing anything spiking. Continue to have the little pops, that's about it. And they lose them. That's the one bird that came off of the low float. But according to the past, at their market open, is that trickery? Are we going to drop again like we did these 2 times? That's the risk that you have to think about. When they're this volatile, I stay away from them. It is, but it looks to be trickery. Look at it fall. It's like, hey, get in here so I can take your money. From 244 down to 275. Seabay's up here on the list. Well, it was. See, you said it was going up. You made it fall. I thought I was the only one that did that. I mean, it's repeating the same pattern. If you could catch the bottom, you'll probably pull out 10 or 15 cents. But I know from experience, if I buy in at the bottom, it's going to set a new bottom. Jay, I don't see what you're seeing. So I never encourage anybody or give them information to buy or sell. We all interpret things differently. So that's a decision you'll have to make. I'll put them in front of you, but it's going to be your decision to buy or sell it. Looks like everything's recovering from this morning's pullback, but not recovering by much. Yeah, if I give you my opinion, and if I'm looking at it live and then I express my opinion in the live stream and you get it 20 or 25 seconds later, it could be a whole new different price range. So I quit making those calls. I don't say buy, I don't say sell. I'll say that looks good, but then you get it delayed. So remember that. This one hit a new high. That new indicator's working. It flashed in yellow right here, new high. No, you can post all you want. Maybe somebody else wants to see them. I'm not saying don't post. I'm just telling you I don't want to tell you buy or no, yes or no. You can post. I have no issue with that. Shayo, always from the tick chart. I wait for that tick chart to pull back and then I enter. Had to kill my phone. There's that new high I was talking about. Thank you, Old Thumb. What's that old saying? Take everything with a grain of salt, whatever that means. Whatever I say could change in a heartbeat. I'm not the market. I'm just an opinion. So I'm sorted by percent change on the all stocks. I'm watching the green ones. See if we can get anything higher. Or maybe find a pullback. That's impossible on a Friday. They're pulling back, they're selling off. Thank you, Shayo. What you guys don't realize is the more things I say to you to try to help you, it also helps me. It keeps it fresh in my mind as well. So it's always good to train people because you keep your mind up to date. It's also a benefit. These are those gap and runs I told you were going to go up. See, when I look at a stock, my eyeballs go right here, pretty much first. I like to know how much money is involved between each mark. If there's only nickels and pennies between these numbers, these price ranges, I'm never interested in them. I like 10 cents between them. 10 cents is a start for me, but I've seen 50 cents between them. I've seen $1 between them. This is how I base my profit and the amount of shares I want to buy is by the number that's the money I can make between these numbers. So if I can only make 10 cents and I know I can make that 10 cents, I'm going to need to buy enough shares to make it worth the investment. If there's 50 cents between here and it looks good and I can buy 1,000 shares, I can make $500. Stephan, if I'm in a stock, let's just take the one that's showing, for example, and this is all based on how many shares I'm holding as well, because that plays an important factor in how long I hold. Let's just say I'm in here for 100 shares, and the stock looks like this. I start watching these moving averages more than I do the price. Because I'm not in for very much, I'm going to hang on as long as these moving averages don't show any weakness. Now, if I'm into a $30 stock for 1,000 shares, and I have 30,000 shares and $30,000 invested, I'm going to really pay attention to price and moving average. If the price starts getting weak, I need to know immediately that I need to get out. Because these moving averages can keep going up, and this price can drop so fast that the moving averages are still pointing up, but the price is dropping. So I have to really determine how much money is involved. What kind of a risk do I want to take to hang on if I'm into it pretty heavy versus if I'm only into it for $1,000 or less? Everything is different depending on how much you're invested. So to answer your question, if I'm not in too deep, I'll monitor only the moving averages because I know there's going to be pullbacks along the way. But if I'm in deep and I'm seeing pullbacks, I have to be very cautious. I try to keep the risk very low. So each trader is going to be different. What I just described is probably not for most people unless they trade my price range and the amount of shares. You have to figure out what works for you, how deep you're willing to get into one, and what amount of money. And I'm real picky. That's why you don't hear me saying I'll buy this or that's too cheap or that's not for me. It's because of what I know I need to do in order to make it worth the investment. Sometimes I regret my decisions, but more times than that, I'm glad I had that decision. So what looks good for somebody may not look good to me. I think what I really like, I used to buy a lot of cheap shares, and I'm talking a lot, like 20, 30 trades a day. And one day I said, why don't I just wait on the good ones? Because if you just wait on the good ones, you're not making so many trades and you're making more money and spending less time trying to find something out of 100 stocks. Kind of like you find that one good one and your experience plays here and it looks good and you know it's going to go up. That's when you buy enough shares to where you don't have to trade again today. If I can get by with 1 or 2 trades a day, that makes me happy. I'll turn it off, go on my way, and I'm done. Versus sitting, I used to sit here all day long. As long as the market was open, buy 100 of this, 200 of that. It's not worth all that. Yeah, you have to learn discipline. You have to figure out how can you make it easy for yourself. I mean, you make 20, 30 trades a day, you're tying up a lot of money. So when that good trade comes along, you don't have enough to play with. That's pretty much how it ends up every time. The worst part is we're not in a good market, so I'm not trading a whole lot. But I know the market can't stay down forever. And when it's a bull market, I'll be playing. I will make up for this hard times we've had. Or I will try to. So in a bear market, don't make as many trades. Look for the good ones, hit them hard. In a bull market, make up for the bad times. A lot of problem with new traders is they get in here and they think they got it and they start buying everything that turns green and they end up losing money. I try to tell them that's not how you do it. Just because it's green and got pretty arrows don't mean it's going up. It doesn't mean you're going to make a profit. You have to have knowledge. You have to know what you're looking at. I look beyond these tools. I watch price action. I'm watching volume. It's not necessarily just the moving averages and the arrows. My mind is really working because I know I'm fixing to spend a lot of money. And if I'm wrong, it could cost me a lot of money. So pick and choose wisely. You should be okay. Don't force a play. Don't take a guess. Just be certain of what you do. James, the scan does the crossover. The tick chart is only for monitoring the price. So if you look on the screen below the chart, I'll change it over to the 5 and 13 crossover. So this scan is actually, these are the stocks that the 5 and 13 are crossing over right here. It only pulls up those stocks where the 5 and 13 are crossing over. So you click on them and then you monitor them on the tick chart to see if the tick chart is down, if it's going up or going down, or if it's floating sideways. So you can slow your tick chart down, try the 233 if it's too quick for you. It's going to respond the same way. So if you look at it as tick chart is orders, that's what that counter is. It looks like a little house in the bottom right corner. If you set it to 133, when those numbers add up to 133, it's going to change candles. So if you set your tick chart to 233, and these are orders, by the way, they're not volume, they're orders. So if you set your tick chart to 233, it's going to slow it down, and you're not going to get a new candle until that little house adds up to 233 orders. So if 133 is too fast for you, try 233. Try higher numbers. It's going to be just as accurate. You're just going to not get as many candles. I don't know what you mean by simple morning breakout. I'll tell you what we do is we watch this column for spikes. When we see a green spike and the percentages are rising, I click on them and I verify that there's a crossover. If there is, I verify that there's a lot of volume. And I verify that there's more buyers than sellers. This one has more sellers. I verify that the stock is trending up, that the candles are green and rising. To me, that's a breakout. I don't chase the green candles. So for instance, if the market opened here and this shot up, I normally wait for it to pull back to see if it's going to rise higher. I won't chase this open. I always wait on some type of pullback. To me, that's the golden ticket, is the pullback. Because at market open, you could get a 4-inch tall candle in green, and right next to it is a 4-inch red candle in red. Market open's always been like that. Sometimes you can get 10 4-inch green candles. You never know. It's unpredictable. That's why I like it to calm down after 5 or 10 minutes, play the leftovers. But since we're in a terrible market, there's usually no leftovers. Had a very rough start on NVAX. And since I'm streaming, you have to remember, I'm not really paying attention. That's why I want you guys to be set up on your own computer. Get serious about it. Watch what's happening on your own screen. If you monitored this stock, you would have probably seen these spikes pop up on this indicator, and you could have played it. But since I'm streaming, I'm not really paying attention, and I don't really trade on Fridays. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are my best days. Sometimes we have a good Monday. Most Mondays are slow. But for me, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I need to do what I need to do. Sometimes the holiday weekends are real good. If we're going into a holiday, the day before is really volatile. I've seen some great runners, but I've also seen some great losers the day before a holiday. Nothing's predictable in the market. Just when you think you got it figured out, you'll be wrong. So these are gap and run. These are the ones I said slow crawl. The problem with these for me is I don't like staying in a stock this long because I'm usually in pretty deep. I don't want to see my money going red and green and red and green and red and green. So practice, learn. Don't try to just jump in the market. It's not going to work. Watch the videos, come to these live streams. The more you attend, the more you're going to learn, and the more I'm going to learn. It's all about sticking with it, figuring it out. It's kind of like having a combination and you don't know the lock numbers. You got to keep playing, keep trying, keep practicing. Do it on paper. Say, okay, this is the perfect setup. Write it down on paper. Don't spend money on it. Make sure you're right. If your winners outnumber your losers, you're probably getting close to ready. Jay, when you figure that one out, will you teach me? I'd sure like to know that one myself. When I see a stock like that, the only thing I've learned was stay away. It's like I say before, if you're having to think about where an entry is, it's probably not a good investment because you're going to know a good entry when you see it. If you're trying to figure out a stock where you can get in, it's probably not a good investment. Couple minutes left here before I sign off. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm sure we all learned something this morning, including me. I appreciate everybody that showed up. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Watch out for idiot drivers. That's the main focus if you leave the house. And I'll be back on Monday and Tuesday and the rest of the week. Maybe we'll have a better trading week next week and we can make up for the 1 or 2 trades we got this week. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Stephen, Scott, Big Mike. Thank you for the bless, Sergeant. Installer Pro, Old Thumb. It's been a blessing. I really enjoy your company. Keep that thought. Kyle, thank you. Higher Ground. Mr. Vasquez, Gil, thank you all. And have a very blessed weekend. I am out of here.